Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the desk. The Challenger Cup is continuing now. Alongside me, I do have Tiger joining us, one of the community casters who's been doing the Challenger Cup for so long. You know more about these teams than we do just lately. Talk to me about this matchup. We've got Papis versus Cyclone. Who's your money on?
My money's on Cyclone. They have been an absolute devastating force in the Challengers Cup. They have just completely raffle-stomped everybody that they've come across. Between Kalis, who was part of Paradigm.
Yeah, that's right. Went to Paradigm for DreamHack, yeah.
Yeah, Kalis, Wlfy, VoteNBK, iceicebabyy, Deathwalker. They're all names that we've seen before and names that we're familiar with.
Completely agree, and I think that's one of the reasons they find themselves basically as one of the top teams here. Did defeat Papis in the group stages as well. Not a big shock to see that happen overall with how Papis played in those, but Papis are now going to be up against them because of Forsaken dropping out. Yeah,
so Forsaken dropped out, and they actually beat whatever to get into the top 4 in a tiebreaker. So, in a strange turn of events with Forsaken gone, they're in here going to be facing Cyclone GG instead.
Well, let's see how Cyclone GG do against the Papis now, because Papis have got a lot of support. They always have had a lot of support from the Spanish community. We could have potentially seen France versus Spain today. Instead, it's going to be Cyclone GG up against the Papis, the Spanish Giants, with Warchi, with Dheylo, I should say, not Dheylo, and the boys as well in tow. Here we go, the Papis with first pick and first ban.
All right, so I'm expecting to see something around the Vulcan. Warchi is absolutely devastating with Vulcan, so it would be in Cyclone's best interest to go ahead and get rid of that early on. But we are going to see the Alquang picked, banned out first up for Papis.
Yeah, so Alquang banned away in Susano. No real shocks coming out from these big assassins. Very, very impactful in the game. And when you say, Vulcan for Warchi, is that for solo lane Warchi?
For mid lane Warchi.
Oh, Warchi's been playing mid? Is that what's been going on? Ah, well, I think, I'm not sure if I'm saying it today, but maybe it's Alex in the mid lane, I'm not sure.
It might be Alex today, but we have seen him in there before.
So he switched it up quite a lot, do they?
Yeah, Papis like to go for the same three gods, Vulcan, Chiron, Sobek. We may not see that today just because Cyclone know what's coming up, but so far, standard ban, so not going to see the Vulcan ban this early, at least.
Yeah, not yet. Well, Papis going to get the first pick now, and with a few things still available on the table for them to look at taking. Raijin was banned out, so they're actually going to go straight for that Nemesis pickup.
Yeah, Nemesis with that ultimate going to be able to shred those protections against tankier targets. So any versatile pick like Kabrakan going to get shredded when it comes to Nemesis coming in for a gank.
Well, just keep an eye on what Papis go for next, because obviously with the Sobek, you can combine nicely to set up Nemesis for a lot. We saw that in the actual SPL as well, with Captain Twig and the boys of Hungry for More using that to great effect. And we'll see if Cyclone know what to answer back with her.
Yeah, we're just waiting to see here. I kind of want to see, even though Nemesis is on there, I still want to see the tankier picks from Cyclone here.
Well, Cyclone going to think things through quite a long time here. They're going to use up all their allotted time, I think, just to really consider this. And it's a big game for them, though, coming into this one as well, Tiger. I mean, these two teams, they've battled all the way through, and just this one will get them that shot of the relegations teams. It's a big ask for both of them.
And I mean, Kalis has had a little bit of the taste of land life, and I think he definitely wants to go back.
Oh, I agree. I mean, to be fair, when you look at this roster from Cyclone, we mentioned it earlier, iceicebabyy, been around the scene for a little while now. Wlfy as well, been on some teams with Half Devil and the likes, and Pikachu, who we saw earlier on today. VoteNBK, well, he had his little run in the SPL as well. And last but not least, Kalis, probably the biggest name on that list recently, just because of his performance for Paradigm at the DreamHack Super Regionals.
Exactly. He is at the helm of Cyclone, who have been known as Loopy Landers and Clown Fiesta before in previous events. So him at the helm at this point, calling these shots and acting as a support for this team, I mean, I'm excited to see what's exactly going to happen coming out from Cyclone. They've been so strong early on in the Challengers Cup.
And the Papis, no real roster changes coming through from them, stuck with the same old crew here, it seems, this season. Obviously, they've got Dheylo in the jungle. Dheylo and Warchi, the biggest two names on this roster, very, very well known, and Dheylo going to be playing that Nemesis today. Has he played much of it in the Challenger Cup, do you remember?
We've seen it a little bit. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've seen a lot of Nemesis overall in general. She's a pretty common pick for CC.
So with Cyclone, you've seen them quite a lot through the seasons and stuff. Do they have like a late game mentality? Do they go for early pressure? What do you normally see coming out of these guys? Or is it just very well rounded?
I think they're really well rounded. I see a lot of aggression coming out if they know the team that they're going against. If they know that they can put the pressure on, then it definitely works in their favor if they just go aggressive.
So they just wait for the right opportunity and then play it from there, really. Okay, well, at the moment, Cyclone's still really thinking things through about where they want to go with this one. Do you expect any crazy picks coming out here, or do you reckon we'll just see meta the whole way through? Do you reckon there's going to be anything that may turn up out of the blue? I mean, you mentioned Vulcan already.
Yeah, no, Vulcan, definitely something that Warchi absolutely loves to run. It's pretty disgusting. I know that Kalis has been playing a lot of Fafnir recently.
Oh, you just caught the Fafnir there, and Kalis actually may be playing that here. Fafnir, one of the first competitive games I've ever seen this guy get picked for. He doesn't provide the same sort of thing in support role that you're used to seeing, though. I mean, he's only got that range stun and the disarm, but for the most part, he's just very, very annoying.
Very annoying indeed. Now, we haven't seen a lot of Fafnir in the Challengers Cup just because he has been banned out for the most part. But Vulcan, nice to see him. A bit of a twitch, though, since Papis aren't going to be able to have him. Kind of a slap in the face.
And maybe that's the reason they did that, though. I think they may have taken that one away, so we don't see Warchi potentially picking that one up. Instead, though, Papis going to answer back with the Bacchus immediately to that Fafnir pick. And I think the Fafnir pick here is going to be very interesting because teams haven't played against it that much more than likely, especially in the competitive scene. So coming into this one, they may be throwing them a curvebone with this Fafnir and the Vulcan early on.
Possibly. In the Bacchus pick, a lot of heavy CC, a lot of damage, and a big teamfight presence coming out from him, so it's going to really work with that Fafnir in this duo lane.
Well, they pick up the hi-rez as well, so that's a standard duo lane we see so often these days. Bacchus, hi-rez, just a nice combination. Can give up the early game a little bit if they get against something aggressive, but for now, Cyclone, they've got Fafnir, and he's not the greatest, honestly, at clearing the wave. He's going to have to use his actual hammer, which is a stun, to actually clear the wave.
Yeah, stun for 1.5 seconds, and that's a lot of time to get something else, the ball rolling for Cyclone, and they're actually going to pick a Bellona as well. A very safe pick for more than likely the solo lane.
Well, we see the counter bans now starting to come through. Aphrodite banned out by Cyclone here, respecting solo lane of the chance of using an Aphrodite with a Nemesis combo, which could be absolutely devastating. We've seen that before in the past.
It has been gross. It's almost as bad as the Aphrodite-Hercules mix-up.
Oh, those were terrible, terrible times. Guan Yu banned out as well, so Cyclone really looking at hitting sustain here on the side of the Papis.
Papis getting rid of Chiron as well as an Wlfy. They like to run the Chiron themselves, but rather not give that to Cyclone at that point.
And when you think about Wlfy here as well, you can think about Bacchus. If he tries to belly flop, can get pulled out of the sky, as well as Vulcan's meatballs do set up nicely for a Wlfy to be able to just pull them out of the sky as well. And hi-rez also has issues, so it's a very smart ban, that one from the Papis here. They've done their homework against Cyclone, and I think Cyclone have done the same against them.
Anhur getting picked up, a very consistent god. I like the fact that he has all of the CC that he brings to the table, and nobody thinks about the sands. That's a great zoning tool as well. People don't want to get in that and get slowed, so that buys a little bit of extra time for Cyclone to go ahead and try to make a play.
Yeah, he also allows Vulcan to get a lot of free damage off as well as they're trying to tread through that sandy obelisk. New War, though, for Papis in the mid lane. This is a very, very safe mid lane god to be picking up here. A bit worried about being aggressed on, I think, is the reason. And New War can get himself out of some dangerous situations with those fire shots.
And with the fire shard, you're also going to be able to see where people are on the map. That's the global presence to see where everybody is, so you don't have to worry about the gank as much. And the last pick coming out, another global presence god, Janus.
Hold the door, though, Tiger, because Papis have picked up 2 mid lane mages here. So have they been running a lot of solo lane mages lately?
That I'm not absolutely sure. This is kind of a mix-up for me, too.
I mean, that's going to be a new wine solo lane for sure. And maybe Janus as well. We saw Devios back in the day play Janus in the solo lane, but New War being in the solo lane, very, very safe and consistent, doesn't have to worry too much. And the effect New War can have is those fire shots, yes, it can give vision, but what it can also do is influence the team fights and give her a lead over the Bellona in that solo lane.
Exactly. And New War, I wouldn't really say, although her passive with the 5 basic attacks will get the root, she has other things in her kit, so she doesn't have to worry about the Scourge. But we are in game, Papis versus Cyclone here.
And look at that, Raph straight away picked up by Dheylo on Nemesis in the jungle. That's a real risk I can see coming forward from Dheylo here. He's gone for the power potion star up against, you can see that iceicebabyy on the Batz. But with no purification against a Batz, that is very, very risky to run.
Yeah, I think they're feeling pretty confident at this point. Cyclone have faced Papis before, and it's not necessarily something they're probably too worried about, but I've seen Papis play from behind before, and it's been absolutely devastating. When Papis get their head in the game, and like with these picks we've seen here, they're not necessarily something you readily go up against. So Cyclone going to have to play a little safer to begin with.
And Papis have been in this zone many times before. They nearly beat Dignitas once upon a time to enter the SPL and just lost out on that one. So the Papis not unaware of these games, you know. They've come into these games before, this sort of high level of play, and maybe this is their time. Maybe they can find the wins against Cyclone, who have the lead over them coming into this one.
So it's nice to see Wlfy picking up a potion. He's going to be able to do a lot more damage over in the mid lane, where he is going to attempt to meatball and do everything that he can to get a leg up on Warchi, because unstable vortexes and portals, a lot of damage early on.
I'm actually looking at relics a little bit more because I did not see what Deathwalker started here with as well. He's gone for Frenzy at the beginning of the game, knowing he's going against AlexMC on that new war. And new war, actually AlexMC here, going for the Purification start. He doesn't want to go too aggressive. He's not got teleport, so Deathwalker's answering back with that immediately to have the Frenzy. This could be a very aggressive lane over in that solo lane.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Deathwalker or the Bellona pick at this point. Now, AlexMC going to be able to get away with that fog if he plays it right, and we have that rotation coming up from iceicebabyy. They want to try and get something early on this new wall, stunt her before she can become a force to be reckoned with, and also to start building up Deathwalker.
Well, Dheylo rotates straight to the mid lane there, expecting AlexMC to be just comfortable, you know, on that new wall, just be able to farm under the tower and play it very safe. But look at the call from Cyclone here. They're going straight into the jungle and going to steal away the back Harpies early on, giving Wlfy a little bit more free farm in that mid lane.
I feel bad because I say it every time I cast Challengers Cup. It's almost a celebration when a team can secure their own buff, because there's so much rotation and so much priority on these team fights in the Challengers Cup that it's, at that point, any extra experience and gold you can get works really well in your favor.
And I think that's the way of the Challenger Cup, though. They're just a little bit more aggressive all the time. Sometimes that gets them in a lot of trouble, though, and that's why when they come into the big boy games, they start to struggle because they're fighting just a little bit too much.
Yeah, they don't pick their fights as safe as they could, and they get a little too aggressive with players that they might not. But Callus taking a little bit of a burp there, but no team fight going to come out just yet. Cyclone kind of feeling out the situation. Callus didn't take a lot of damage there, so we might see a play coming out soon.
I'm excited to see how this Fafnir works out for him, because we didn't expect it to be used too much in the competitive play style. Not that much sustain for the team overall. He's got a personal heal for himself and a buff towards his teammates as well that can come into effect, but not so much that I think he's going to be that useful. We'll see how Callus can make it work, though, because, well, we'll see.
Yep, he's going to jump forward, not going to be able to get a connection there, but the sands are down. A little bit extra damage coming onto Perilla on the hi-rez, but once again, another disengage. Just
another disengage for now, as Callus is going to head into the jungle for a moment or two and just give away, try and hide away from the vision, but Mark of the Crow clearly on him, so he knows exactly where he is. Wlfy returning to mid lane, and you can see iceicebabyy swinging around the back, and I guess who he's after? I guarantee you, it's that Nemesis. It's the Nemesis and Warchi at this point. Anything he can get, but he's going to instead turn away, start clearing some creep, and Papis are going to retreat to the safety of their tower. Yeah, they're just going to play back for now. They're not hit level 5 just yet. Just have to respect the damage that can come out from Cyclone early on. And the biggest issue is Dheylo just cannot get caught out of position by iceicebabyy once, because not going for that purification early could be a huge detriment in this game if he doesn't hit level 12 without, without a comfortable sensibility about it. And Batz with the iceicebabyy does have the ultimate, so with that no purification, it's going to be even worse for him because he's still level 4. He just dinged level 5 now. Going to see the magma bomb take quite a bit of damage onto Warchi. He's got that target on him, but going to be too far away to get that the turret shots. Now, composition definitely favoring for me the Papis the later this game goes here. Yes, there's some good players on the side of Cyclone, but when you look at the types of Anhur here, and obviously with Callus on that Fafnir, I feel like the Papis going to be a little bit stronger in the late game. If Dheylo gets a good ultimate off, then AlexMC could just follow with fire shots and potentially just find a kill just off those two ultimates alone. Exactly. Now, we see David rotating over to the mid lane. Not really going to find anything. Waiting for Janus to come back, trying to just save some face, save some tower shots, because those are going to come in handy later on. The mid camps are about to come up. Wlfy's already turning the corner, trying to find something, looking for it, preparing, because you don't want to give Papis any extra bit. And obviously, we're looking at him trying to peek over, not going to find it. It's going to go definitely to Cyclone. Yeah, good little work coming out from Cyclone there. Wlfy just coming out big with a knock-up just to dissuade the unstable vortex coming out there from Warchi in the mid lane. Warchi, surprised he played mid lane. I expected to see him in the solo lane. He's been there for such a long period of time. I'm surprised. I've seen him in the Hunter role before in previous seasons for the Papis. Seen him in the solo lane, now mid. I don't think there's a role this guy can't play. Yeah, he's been bouncing around quite a bit, but no, his home is in the mid lane for now. He's been doing really well with these safe picks, but also with the Vulcan. That's something that we see a lot of respect bans coming out for. Just every single time as well. Callus, back to the dual lane. We're going to tune in with him one more time, working towards his boot. Well, still not headed back to base just yet. And you can actually see him popping that steroid on himself just to heal himself up a little bit more. Not for anything else, but there's the engagement. Yeah, 9 suns are coming down as a zoning tool at that point. Cyclone going to get out of dodge. Don't want to go ahead and fight any of that. We see Perilla start to back off. Callus goes for the jump. Not going to connect, though. little bit messy coming out from the Papis there. They looked for the engagement with the Hou-Yi Bacchus combination, but it just didn't work out. Used both their ultimates on that one, and even Warchi tried to get involved, but there was just no damage. But now Warchi's on cooldown. There's the Fear No Evil, but unfortunately, Dheylo was just inside tower range for safety.
And Vulcan ult does a lot of damage. Warchi going to be forced to back off, so is Dheylo kind of hanging out in the back end of that tower. So not really going in Papis' favor either.
Yeah, Papis just trying to make aggression in the duo lane, and then in the mid lane is Cyclone trying to answer back and not really finding anything for the time being. 5 minutes in, and the first trips back to base are starting to come through.
Yep, slow little island, nothing much happening right now. A little bit of farm on favor of Deathwalker thus far, but we are 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. We still haven't had our first blood. Yeah,
that's bound to happen from TheAlexMC, though, having to just play very safe, because every time he walks forward, that's exactly what will happen. Deathwalker will just smash him with that bludgeon hammer and immediately force him back.
And it definitely hurts, no doubt about that. It chunked his HP, but looks like Kala's going to get pinched out. There's going to be the portal, Unstable Vortex taking a lot of damage, and now the Nemesis ult. But Kala's going to activate the ultimate. He is in the dragon form, but Perilla coming down with the dive bomb, going to be able to finish him off.
Really good first blood from the Papis there. Kalis gets caught out of position in his own jungle, to be fair. It's not really him out of position. But the ultimate, it bought him a second because it does avoid the damage coming through. But by sitting stealth for so long, well, it allowed the Papis just to collapse and burst him down the moment he came through the ultimate.
So, beautiful ricochet from Perilla. Absolutely fantastic. But we're not seeing the same Cyclone that I've been seeing over the course of the past couple of weeks in the Challengers Cup. Papis having their run with them at this point. First blood. Now they're starting up the Gold Fury.
Warchi under pressure.
VoteNBK looking for it. David doing a lot of damage onto iceicebabyy. Everybody is drunk, but the Papis managed to take the Gold Fury. The 9 Suns are still coming down, and they're still chasing VoteNBK. Ricochet's not going to connect, and now Cyclone are here in full force. Looking for Perilla. Beautiful Eagles rally, taking a lot of damage, and then Vulcan. Boom! Deathwalker getting credit for that last hit.
Nice little pickle play from Wlfy there to secure that kill for his team, but they did lose the Gold Fury. That's the biggest talking point there. They will get the left-hand Harpies here and look to pressure mid lane as well, because most members of the Papis are back, but they won't get enough time on it to be able to bring it down before you'll see Warchi return. Overall, Papis came up well, and Cyclone trying to answer back.
Trying to answer back, indeed. Looking at Cyclone, looking at the damage real quick. Vulcan topping those charts at the top end of the charts, but Papis are the next 4 slots there, so they're doing more damage and being able to connect and finish these kills, even though we haven't seen that many team fights yet.
Now, so far, so good for the Papis. I mean, they get the Gold Fury, which means that Wrath goes to use for Dheylo here. But look at his player damage. That's all he is at the moment. He's a walking Wrath. He hasn't done any player damage because he's had to play so safe on this Nemesis because he's not got purification. It's such a risk that, yeah, it's rewarded the team with a Gold Fury, but it's not rewarding them with extra damage coming out from Dheylo.
Not yet. I'm really hoping to see Dheylo be able to kind of branch out and start getting these team fights once he starts getting more experience and level. At the end, it's not going to matter when everybody's 20, and then he's going to be able to go and roll face wherever he wants.
Completely agree. Just keep an eye on how this team of Papis play out, because they're in a good position now, and it's Kalis being focused on again here, pinned into an awkward spot, but can easily jump over the wall using his lovely little jump, underhanded tactics. What a great name.
Indeed, but he's going to get caught out. Fear No Evil is good. Warchi taking a lot of damage, but through space and time, we'll keep him out of the CC at least. Yeah,
Warchi just going to use that nicely, just keep himself away. Alex in the jungle, though, going to be surrounded by Deathwalker, but good clay minions, so keep him alive for now. Everything so far so good for the Papis.
Yeah, that CC is very nice. If you can utilize those clay minions, and if they go to the right target you're looking for, it can be pretty devastating in these team fights. Deathwalker on the receiving end of that unfortunate stun for Cyclone. He probably could have made something out of it.
Now Deathwalker here, he's got a red buff around him, as you can see. Also has the Frenzy Relic. I want to see what he goes into at level 12, which he's just dinged now on the relics, because could look for the teleport, which could be very influential for his team, and that's what we see out of solo laners. But after starting off with the Frenzy, maybe we're seeing him to go for something different.
He's going to go for the sprint instead. Help out the team fight, or help out team fights and help
flop.
Chase down. But we're going to have the jump in. Intoxicate is good. 3 members
Fire
of
shards.
Cyclone are drunk at least. Fire Shard's going to do a little bit of extra damage. But VoteNBK soloing Perilla at the moment, taking a lot of damage. Desert Fury was activated. Not going to be up for a little while longer, but back in the mid lane.
Power play for the Papis there. They get a lot of damage off, but there's no response. They can't actually find the tier 1 tower. All the minions are currently down. So Cyclone, they weathered the storm of the engagement from Papis. Look how many ultimates they just used. 4 ultimates the side of Papis used for that engagement and still didn't manage to find a kill. Cyclone, however, still have that Vulcan ultimate, so they could try and turn things around, but Ice is under pressure.
Ice forced to use the purification to jump out of the way before he can get pinched by 3 members of Papis, but the Eagles rally is going to get a 2-man stun, and then Deathwalker activates his sprint, wanted the chase, but Papis got out of dodge too quickly.
Yeah, Deathwalker just going to rotate around now with that frenzy as well. Did use the sprint as well to help get his teammates out of danger. Only really got hit onto DavidArnaiz there on that Bacchus. There's nothing really much you can do about a tanky Bacchus at this stage. Gone for the Vanguard, which we've seen a lot out of the Bacchuses this season.
So Bacchus has been, or David has been the kind of start of these team fights, which he's supposed to be doing. He's playing Bacchus to go ahead and start and engage, but the jump into the intoxicates, Cyclone should see it coming.
Yeah, they should be trying to see it coming, at least get some bit of war coverage down. Can we see the ward's place coming out here from the Cyclone? Because at the moment, it doesn't feel like, I felt like it was less, but at the moment, they actually are the ones warding a little bit more, but still, they're getting picked by the Papis on these rotations, which is quite surprising.
But we are going to see them rotate over into Papis jungle and try to take this buff without any worry here. So going to be able to take that from the Papis and have their free reign of the jungle for now.
I mean, it is game 1 nerves as well for both these teams. Papis, like I said, a little bit more established at these big level games, and Cyclone realize that they win this set and they will go up against the SPL teams for a shot at joining the SPL roster for next season.
No.
It's a big one to play.
Now, I totally understand those first game nerves, but...
Good comeback.
Oh, thank you. But we're looking at Kalis here. He jumped in with the underhanded tactics, wanted to go on to Warchi, didn't have the opportunity. And Warchi, even though he didn't use it now, every time Kalis has been aggressing on him, he's used those portals fantastically to go ahead and stop him before any aggression can happen. So great presence of mind coming out from the mid, Janus.
I'm just going to pop the heal on himself one more time to give him a steroid of attack speed and extra power, but not much extra power considering he is that amazing little dwarf, and he's not got the gold just yet to have his protections boosted, which is his passive at the end of the day.
Yep, DavidArnaiz in a perfect opportunity to go ahead and jump on somebody looking to pinch, maybe iceicebabyy, but they see it coming. Kalis jumping in, activating the dragon. We're going to see it happen here. He's going to do a lot of extra damage, but the 9 suns are down as well as Fear No Evil. He's still going to fall through the portal, however. Now David looking on the receiving end of a lot of damage, plus the Vulcan ultimate crashing down. Wlfy going to be able to finish off David, and now Bellona jumping in with the Eagles rally, but iceicebabyy jumping, finishing off Warchi. This is almost a wipe here.
Cyclone have just done so well in this fight, and now TheAlexMC going to get knocked up, and you can see coming around the corner is iceicebabyy for the double kill. Cyclone can now set up for this Wlfy, get themselves in a position to just take this for free. It's only Perilla on his own, no ultimate available, and if he walks in, it's going to spell destruction for his life.
Yeah, it's kind of a judgment call at that point. You either jump in or die, or possibly still not die, but even now, he's still getting completely aggressed upon him. iceicebabyy is not letting him go anywhere. He's going to be able to finish him off. Cyclone are going to get that gold fury, and that is basically an unofficial deicide.
And when you look at the graphs there, look at the swing of this game immediately. Cyclone now in full control, 7,500 experience, 3,500 gold. They don't go for the tier 1 tower, they just don't feel they've got enough people there right now, or enough minions to bring it down, especially knowing Warchi is coming back. But my oh my, that fight just went absolutely perfectly for Cyclone.
So watching Cyclone, you could see the pent-up aggression, the tension. They were waiting to unleash everything they had. While Papis, every team fight, we've seen almost every ultimate be popped down. Cyclone have been waiting for this exact moment.
I will say, though, Cyclone's play in that fight was a little bit off the mark. Fear No Evil didn't really connect from iceicebabyy, and on top of that, you did see Wlfy's ultimate was the one that really, and actually Kalis's ult didn't hit. It was Wlfy and VoteNBK, the big all-stars with their ultimates there, hitting the back line. Obviously, VoteNBK smashing through that Desert Fury, hitting multiple targets, and Wlfy just hitting the backside when people are trying to get away, trying to cut off the escape potion.
It was kind of a crazy cacophony of ultimates and damage, but overall, they got the kills. So
they get the kills, they get the gold fury, and now they're invading the jungle on the left-hand side as well.
And like I said, I always celebrate when a team can get their own buffs or their own camps, and at this point, I can't do that right now because Cyclone are running through Papis jungle like nobody's business.
Well, they're doing a good job at only 13 minutes in. That gold lead's starting to stretch, and you can see Papis going to be a little bit too late to the party. Good impale coming out from VoteNBK. I like the fact he didn't follow up there, knowing that a rotation from Papis was on its way.
Exactly, and they have bigger fish to fry at this point. Want to go ahead and start pushing their minions. The next step is going to be looking at objectives and starting to really group up for those rotations. They know they can take Papis in a fight, so it's now just picking it and waiting for Papis to make that mistake so they can capitalize on it.
Well, the first tower does fall in favor of the Papis here. The right-hand side tier 1 fell down to TheAlexMC there on that new war. Pretty good at split pushing. Not as good as the old new war was, however, but, you know, still pretty good at just sitting in the lane all day, farming forever, and with a Sanctuary and a Purification, it's going to be very hard to pick off now.
I miss old Nuwa. I miss Shake and Bake.
I do not. I'll tell you that much.
But speaking of Nuwa, she's doing a fantastic job keeping up with the Bellona at this point. She's only a level behind, but that doesn't really constitute for much. And with that blue buff, she's going to be able to stay in these team fights a little bit longer when they start to happen. And with those fire shards, she's going to have to pump out everything that she can because she's not a solo lane warrior. So you got to make up for it.
She's gone for the Warlock Sash here to be a bit tankier and be able to stay in the fight a little bit longer and just take a little bit more damage, soak it up for a team. I want to see where she heads next though, because it could be a Book of Tough or a Soul Reaver. Now Soul Reaver great for AoE damage and dealing a lot to a single target, but Book of Tough double stacking is an option, and it's something I've seen out of the Papis more often than other teams.
I would like to see the Soul Reaver though on top of the fire shards, because that's going to hit everybody.
It will hit everybody. The biggest target will take the most damage from that. And the regeneration of Soul Reaver now is up a little bit more often these days. Does a little bit less damage, but balances out in the grand scheme of things. Cyclone, though, starting to group up mid, and you can see Wlfy putting that Vulcan turret to good use.
Yeah,
well, attempted to.
At least, yeah. Poppy's getting a little bit hot under the collar, a little uncomfortable because Cyclone are here in full force looking for the burp. I was only going to stun one, but the Fear No Evil is good. They're going to push into this tower. They don't even care at this point. All the damage they are unleashing onto this objective, but the Vulcan ultimate is going to soar through. Only take a little bit of damage, and Deathwalker incredibly low. The fire shards going to finish him off. AlexMC getting credit for that kill, but now David incredibly low, and with no tower to take him, Kalis, he's going to take him, and now the dragon form.
But Papis have to be very careful. They can push on and actually wipe out Cyclone if they want to. Cyclone committing very heavily for that tier 1 tower there. They lost one member of their team in Deathwalker. They could have actually lost a lot more if Papis would have recognized that. They could have ran them down. Talking about running them down here. Look at Perilla on this right-hand side. He's really trying to find that pick on Batz, but it looks like iceicebabyy may get away in time.
Yeah, a little bit too slow. I would have probably thrown a ricochet just to be sure. At this point, mana doesn't matter as much.
Oh, those minions blocked nicely by VoteNBK, but the clay minions a different story though. They will tank up the tower for them, give them those backdoor protections they need. Tier 1 towers trade in the mid lane, and a lot of poke landed on Perilla then from Wlfy.
Yeah, Papis aren't really able to keep up at this point. Their best bet, more than likely, is to hunker down and sit at one of these objectives, because they're going to be able to get the tower shots, the Phoenix shots, however far Cyclone want to push in any particular direction. Yeah.
I agree. Oh, look at this though from Cyclone. I was going to say, wait for Cyclone to make a mistake, and this might be one. It's only 16 minutes in the game, and they're trying to rush down a fire giant already. Dheylo recognizes it. Dheylo does have purification this time round though to get away from that danger zone, as Fear No Evil was wasted. But I don't think Cyclone can look at the fire giant this time round now, because Papis well aware of it. That was such a risky play.
No, but Cyclone aren't dispersing just yet. They're waiting, putting pressure, trying to get any pick that they can. Warchi going to be on the receiving end of a meatball, not going to feel too good.
And this is the issue. You said, you know, Papis should just play back, wait for Cyclone to make a mistake, because Cyclone on that tier 1 tower, they did make quite a few mistakes there. Went very deep for the kills, didn't really find any, and at the same time took a lot of free tower damage from the tier 1, and it allowed Alex to answer back with that new Wlfy Shard's ultimate when they all got very low.
Yeah, and Cyclone tastes blood at this point. They've gotten that taste. Now they're like a frenzied shark. It's up to Papis to capitalize on those mistakes that they're making, like we both mentioned. So it's Cyclone's game to choke or Papis' game to underdog.
No, I completely agree with that one. Wlfy, though, hitting level 16 now, working towards more than likely the Void Stone here. Sorry, the Obsidian Shard, I should say, after finishing off the Book of Tough. And we do see, talking about Book of Tough, AlexMC did pick it up for the double stacking option there for that new war. That new war's going to do a lot of damage in the later stages of this game.
Speaking of a lot of damage, Dheylo just took a lot of damage from Wlfy. That Vulcan, as he continues to level up, just gonna absolutely dish and hurt. Now, we don't see a lot of Vulcan, but with his new passive, it kind of helps a little bit with the fact that he doesn't have an escape. And with all the team members that have these jumps and ways to get to him, it's gonna be good. But through space and time, Activated gonna be able to take Papis from one point to the other. So now this Gold Fury is going to be stopped or halted, and we're going to have a Gold Fury dance.
This works out very well for the Papis and Cyclone as well. Papis dissuade them, but Cyclone get the through space and time on cooldown. They still hold all their ultimates here, Cyclone. So they can just sit back now and go again, knowing that Warchi has to come up to this fight if he wants to get involved. Can't just use that through space and time ultimate to try and steal it away.
Looking for Deathwalker, not going to be able to find him with the Crow's Mark, and now 4 members of Cyclone trying to put pressure anywhere that they can. Warchi might get put out here. Going to have Kalis jumping in. He does have the portal available, is going to be able to get out of dodge, but David was providing good peel if needed.
Yeah, Kalis just off the mark there with both his skills. Jumps in, looks for the disarm to close the gap, and the hammer doesn't connect either, which allows Warchi just to puddle away quite happily. And for now, doesn't look like either team wants to go for the fire giant now. It's just going to farm up one more time.
Not anymore. Cyclone thought they might have gotten it for free, but since Papis showed up, they decided not to. Wait till they wipe Papis, or wait till they get a couple of nice kills, or they're in a good position.
Well, let's just see what Warchi's going to do now. Level 15 has the Book of Tough online, still continuing his build-up as things go forward. Working nicely for his team at the moment, the whole team. Player damage-wise, he's second only to Wlfy on that Vulcan in the mid lane. And Vulcan, something you don't see too often, but still brings a hell of a lot of damage to a team.
So we're 19 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, 3-7. Cyclone's sitting up in the red, but I'm still waiting for Nemesis to show up. Perilla forced to jump out of the sands. VoteNBK does a lot of damage, and you just don't want to deal with that.
I agree with what you say there about the Dheylo showing up on this Nemesis, because he's not just yet. I mean, obviously you want levels, and he's currently 3 levels down at the moment over iceicebabyy on that Batz. And when you pick a Nemesis, you want to get to those later stages of the game, set yourselves up for a great opportunity. Talk about setting up for an opportunity. Fire Giant has been started by Cyclone.
Exactly, and we have the Gold Fury as well. So we're looking at that. VoteNBK doing a lot of the damage, but they're going to leash it right before the through space and time. Fire shards are good, but Fear No Evil is better. Dheylo taking a lot of damage, barely going to miss out on the Vulcan. Oh, Wlfy trying to give as much damage as he can. Beautiful, beautiful Eagles rally coming down, going to get the stun, but Perilla going to be able to get away. And now, David taking the brunt of the damage, but Papis are on retreat.
It's all up to Warchi now. The rest of the team can't really get involved. Alex has to come back, but look at that. Over the wall goes VoteNBK, looking for Warchi. Impale into the wall is great. Through space and time. Sorry, Purification and Portal use at the end of the day there. But still the Gold Fury still being contested by Cyclone. Cyclone looking good for it.
Exactly, but David trying to get back into the fight, but Cyclone already taken the Gold Fury, not going to be able to steal that, and now they got themselves in a pretty rough position. iceicebabyy doing a lot of damage. Wlfy going to be able to finish him off, though, and now the Sands. Kala's activating the ultimate.
I'm going to continue onto this one as well as Deathwalker just doing what he can with the Bellona. Will secure Perilla, turn his attention to the next target. And the next target is bleeding, is being burned by the dragon that is Callus. And the credit will go to Deathwalker for the double kill. Now Cyclone can look for the tier 2 on the left. And poor old Dheylo, who's all alone.
Dheylo all alone are going to get eaten by Kallus at this point. Another catastrophic death on the side of Papis. Warchi the only real defense at this point. Kallus going to just attack this tower. Everybody looking at this tower. Cyclone going to take what they can. They pushed out Papis. Now time to start really throwing their weight around and throwing their aggression that we've seen in the Challengers Cup.
Love what Cyclone do there. They take the Gold Fury, they win the team fight, they focus on objectives. Not the whole team takes the tier 1, they get the red buff as well. Warchi being pressured out for a second or two, but they won't be able to get this tier 2 tower just yet. I don't think without minions, but I guess the turret does give backdoor protections for a moment. They will dissuade it though.
Yeah, I don't want to push your lead too much. We've seen other teams where they've been ahead and then complete underdog stories. We've seen it with Papis before. So Cyclone, even though they've been playing aggressive, kind of starting to take a little bit back. Papis have shown their fangs a couple of times, so this is a big game. You don't want to blow it.
And that's the key. Showing the fangs a couple of times is what Papis need to do, but they need to get some more levels online. If you can go to the graphs, you'll see the gold lead and the experience is the more important one here. 13,000 experience lead at 22 minutes in. It's an absolutely monumental uphill battle for them because at the moment, still only one player in this game is level 20.
Exactly, and it is not on the Papis side for sure. So looking at the kills here, Cyclone absolutely dominating. Now Papis, they got first blood, and then there was a 1-for-1 trade earlier on, but that's kind of when Papis started to fall off. Cyclone got their feel for him, and speaking of feeling a lot of pain right now. iceicebabyy and Deathwalker dropping their ultimates onto TheAlexMC, going to take a lot of damage, but he may be able to get away. Deathwalker is chasing pretty hard, going to be able to find the kill, and now Dheylo, the only real defense here, and he's getting completely trashed.
Well, the rotation from Papis is coming, but it's just a little bit too late, and you can see Bacchus and Warchi having to fall back to safety. Tier 1 tower falls. Left-hand side, though, Perilla will get that Tier 1 tower, but he's not going to be cared about by Cyclone here. They want the tier 2. They want to keep going aggressive. They want more kills.
Yeah, you got one tower, but at what expense? Bacchus still jumping in. Intoxicate is good, while iceicebabyy still chasing Warchi. They're looking for it. Sanctuary has been activated, so he's going to be able to get away. But now David's in that bad spot with 3 members breathing down his neck. He's not going to be able to get away. He's already used the jump.
Phoenix. This is going to be a Phoenix now, because still on the left-hand side, Perilla's trying to take a tier 2 tower here. Warchi forced back to base from the play from coming out, honestly, from David there. David belly flops into 4 targets to try and slow him down. Ends up costing him his life, and Warchi forced back to base means they lose a Phoenix on this right-hand side. Really good play from Cyclone. Papis may be able to be in a bit more trouble if Warchi would have got hit by that knockback.
Yeah, that would have been gross if Warchi got caught out, but Cyclone decided to go ahead and back off. They have quite a bit of gold that they need to spend, but Dheylo not letting him get away. Wlfy on the receiving end of the Nemesis ultimate. Dheylo forced to pop the shield, but there's just so many people taking a lot of damage. Eagle's rally going to stun him out, but we saw the ultimate, but no real follow-up from Cyclone. They don't want to fight this yet. They want to wait.
Wlfy tried to find that backfire, but couldn't. They're still trying to close the gap and find stuff, but instead, Callus going to pop the ultimate. The dragon is here, and Warchi is no longer. Perilla has to jump over the wall to get away from safety, but Ice may want to continue going aggressive. Callus does anyway, but walks straight into the clay minions of AlexMC for now. 15-4, and well, that looked like a desperation play from the Papis there, just trying to find kills and find some sort of answer to what Cyclone have done here.
It was kind of a Hail Mary play at that point. They chased way too hard. Cyclone gave them a chance to back off. They still contested, so Cyclone turned around and dumped everything they had on them.
Really, really good work from the Papis and well, to be fair, the Cyclone more, but Papis trying to do something which you can understand, but at the moment, this is starting to really slip away from the Fire Giant. Could be looked at by the Cyclone now. They're going to get themselves into a very good position for it. iceicebabyy just going to head back to base first of all and finish off his item build. You can see just on gold-wise, look at the items. There's a whole row of items missing on the side of Papis that Cyclone have over them.
And that's going to definitely come into play in these later team fights. If Papis show up even, we're looking at Cyclone starting to take down this Fire Giant, taking quite a bit of damage very quickly. He's probably going to fall even before David can jump in, but he's poised, he's waiting for it, he's looking for it, he's going to be able to jump in, but Papis are going to steal it! They stole the Gold Fury, but now David's trying to get out. This is just the punishment. Cyclone going to obliterate him. iceicebabyy.
I'm just going to continue pushing on now. The Fire Giant goes the way of the Papis, but two members are down. Warchi falls too. Callus going to continue giving chase with VoteNBK in alongside him. Tier 2 tower will be looked at instead by Cyclone here. Even though the Papis did get that Fire Giant, they still can't fight.
It's like placing a band-aid over a bullet wound. It's only a temporary fix. Now, it's a step in the right direction. It's a nice foothold for the Papis to start trying to traverse the mountain of experience and gold that Cyclone have made.
I'd agree with you, but the Phoenix is under threat here, and Callus going to go straight in with iceicebabyy. Overhand smash coming out from Iceice, and already Perilla's dead before he can take to the sky. Next up is Dheylo, forced out with the shield, and still the team are all just taking it in turns to tank up with the Phoenix to bring it down.
They're looking for it. Callus doing a lot of damage to it with that fire, but Papis are going to lose that Phoenix. Now, Cyclone are looking a little worse for wear. They don't want to go ahead and continue pushing these Phoenixes. They took a lot of damage, so it's best to go ahead and back off. We've seen these smart plays and these aggressive plays, and this is a smart one.
Well, think about it. I mean, they lose the Fire Giant, but they get a Tier 2 tower and a Phoenix, head back to base, buy up, maybe go to the Gold Fury, and then just start swinging down the left-hand side, knowing the Fire minions are going to be pushing down the middle and the right-hand side.
Yeah, there's only two members of Papis that even have that Fire Giant buff anymore, and it's AlexMC and Dheylo. And unfortunately for the Nemesis, he hasn't really been able to do anything this game. He's been stuck on the sidelines in a very passive role.
Well, it was first pick Nemesis as well. I mean, they really prioritized that Nemesis pick for themselves, and they've not really put it to very good use so far this game. I think when they go to pick some bans again, they need to reassess their decision-making of whether they wanted that Dheylo to really be that way, you know, with the Wrath. I mean, Wrath can be useful. It does have a stun on that ability as well, to be able to stun people out, but if you're against a Batz, it's going to be a hard time to try and even get in close to these fights.
Papis were starting the Gold Fury, and then they heard Wlfy's ultimate flying towards the objective. They backed off. Cyclone bullied them out of it. They're going to go ahead and take that. And now through space and time is gone. They maybe tried to snipe it, but unfortunately that's going to be gone for Papis now.
I think we'll just see some patient play coming out from Cyclone here. You can just see them actually going back to farm up all the waves and push down this Tier 2 tower. Don't think we'll see a defense come out from Papis here at the Tier 2. More than likely, they're trying to focus on the right-hand side of the map and make sure one Phoenix comes back up at least before they have to defend their final one on the left-hand side.
They're setting up. They want to make sure they can secure their victory. They don't want to let anything slip out of their fingers. So they're going, just meticulously going to every lane, pushing everything up, taking everything that they can, wiping everything off the map so Papis don't have anything. You want experience? We're going to force you to fight us.
Well, here we go. Wlfy following along with him at the back. He'll be sat at the back for most of this fight, just walking forward to drop that turret in an awkward position for the Papis to deal with. Keep an eye on David, though. DavidArnaiz is going to have to go in on that Bacchus at some point, but there's the engage.
Callus jumping in, but Bruno Evil going to massive CC. Deathwalker going to take out Perilla. Fire shards are good, going to take a little bit of damage, but it's nothing compared to Cyclone. It just bounces off their chest. Deathwalker taking out Warchi now, a giant damage dealer for the Papis, so it's not looking good.
And there's a meditate coming out as well. You just heard it on your screen as they're now just going to swing around for the final Phoenix on this right-hand side here. Callus, the last one to leave the base here, just doing what he needs to. And Dheylo going to have to disengage and get a guest on one more time by Callus, who gets a lot of free damage off him, and now the collapse is there one more time. They're looking to burn him down. The Titan is under attack. A Cyclone going to take game one.
They are going to take game one. It looks like there's a lot of damage as Titan is falling quickly. 347, now down to 0.
Really, really good play from Cyclone there. The Papis got off to a great start though, Tiger. I mean, start that game, Papis were really matching pace with Cyclone as things went forward, but then all of a sudden, Cyclone just managed to win that one team fight and it just swung in their favor.
It became the game of passive versus aggressive. Papis played a little too passive. They know who they're going against, and Papis didn't have the greatest week last week. They unfortunately kind of just got completely obliterated in the round robin. So
rough times, and now, well, they're going to face themselves off. There's still a best of 3 though. That's the best news for them, so they can still win the next 2 and go through as well. However, iceicebabyy, good performance from him on the home Batz. To be fair, he didn't really have a jungler position to deal with too much because that jungler had to play safe, but look at Ice in these fights.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and jump in. We're waiting for it. He's going to blink forward. Lots of damage coming out with the ultimate. Going to take the jump, actually take out Warchi, but he was the main reason that, Bellona got that first kill.
I agree, and I love the fact that he swings around the back here as well just to pick up some more, and then I believe he also gets this kill onto Perilla. They actually baits him back in one more time a little bit later on. But anyway, onto Deathwalker as well, the solo lane Bellona. We said a lot about Bellona so far today. Obviously, the match of Exist versus whatever as well. We saw some good plays, but Deathwalker showing he's got what it takes as well on this Bellona to bring down some targets with the help of Callis. And Callis picked that Fafnir that game. I don't really think it had that much of an impact. Did you?
Give and take. Callis absolutely loves Fafnir. We've seen it before. So it's more of a comfort pick versus something that we may have gone before. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. We'll see in game 2 though what they're going to end up doing this time around. Pick some bands.